What's up, guys? Mason the Rock Henderson here, and this is Gotham Season 3, Episode 21, Destiny Calling. So, for no reason whatsoever, I'm about to grab this cup, take a little sip of water. What? What? Again, what? So, a lot happened this episode. Let's talk about it. So, first of all, let's talk about, I guess, the least main plot part of this episode. And that has to be, once again, the Penguin and Riddler stuff. This time, they tried to incorporate more of that into the plot. You know, Penguin's now with Fish Mooney. Apparently, she has the mutants working with her. She's got Mr. Freeze and Firefly working with her. They kidnap Hugo Strange. Why? Because they need to be a blockade for the main plot to go forward. And I thought about that. I'm like, why did Fish Mooney come back? What is her purpose being in this story? This is why. She came back because somebody needed to kidnap Hugo Strange. So, because Jim is kind of on a time crunch with the virus slowly infecting him, somebody had to get in the way. Somebody had to block Jim from being able to get the job done right away. Fish Mooney serves that purpose. She comes in, takes Hugo Strange, says she wants him because she wants Gotham to beg for him back. That's the only purpose she has in this story. And what's frustrating about this is, not only is it obvious that that's the only reason she's here, but they do it again at the end of the episode where Hugo Strange says, "I'll need one thing." We see Jervis Tetch riding in the back of a GCPD car, and what happens? Tabitha and Barbara stop the GCPD car, take Jervis Tetch because they need to blockade the story again. Here's the thing. You can have blockades in your story. You can have reasons for your story to halt for a second because the bad guys have stepped in the way, have blocked something entirely. But to have it obviously like this, where a character who's not really involved in the main plot at all of a sudden becomes involved in the main plot, for no other reason than we need to progress it one more episode, it gets really frustrating. And to do it twice in one episode is even more frustrating. So that's the one problem that I do have with this episode. Everything else, thoroughly enjoyed. But this is something that definitely, it needed some, I guess, some fixing, something to smooth it out and make it less, I guess, sudden that, oh, Fish Mooney's back all of a sudden and she wants Hugo Strange all of a sudden to boom, boom, boom. Why? How? Anyway, so moving on from that, we see Jim and Harvey in this trying to get Hugo Strange, trying to get him because he has an antidote for the virus. And so Jim is having to deal with the virus while also trying to get the antidote for it. This does lead to some very funny moments, but also some very intense moments where we see Jim dealing with the virus, you know, trying to fight it, but still seeing the effects of it taking over. And we come to find out that, you know, Captain Barnes managed to survive with Alice Tetch's blood in him for weeks. But apparently the virus that was set off in the clock tower where Jim was and inside that building, apparently this is a special kind of virus that Hugo Strange made that infects a lot quicker. And so Jim not only is having to fight it off, but is having to fight off a deadlier strain of it that infects people more quickly. And you can see it's really affecting him. And so there are a few really good scenes where the one in particular, or well, the two in particular that really caught my attention. The first one is when he's in the bathroom. Once again, the camera work is very, very well done. I think I talked about this whenever Nigma was going through his transformation into the Riddler and kind of losing his mind in the process. The camera work on it was very well done. You could feel just the intensity of what his brain was going through. Same thing here with Jim. You can feel the intensity when he's in the bathroom at the GCPD and it's affecting him. You know, it's just, the camera's kind of vibrating. You can see just how his vision is blurring. And then when Harvey walks in, we're seeing lights flickering, but it's all blurred out in the background because he's just so focused on trying to keep the virus within. Another scene is where Mr. Freeze freezes the water that Jim put in the way, and so it creates like this ice wall. And so Jim's like, we're losing time, and you can see the virus is affecting him. His eyes are going crazy again, and he just starts punching the wall over and over again, and you can't hear anything Harvey is saying. Like the noise is slowly going away. Even him hitting, that noise is slowly going away. Just like, that was a very well done scene. I don't know, it was very, most of the camera work and even the sound work has been very good. So, I don't know, just wanted to throw some praise their way. But ultimately, this does lead to a climax scene where they're inside this warehouse where Hugo Strange is keeping all these vials of the virus, or the antivirus. And all of a sudden, these people like flip out from the ceiling. They've got hoods on, they've got masks on. League of Assassins. And so they get this cool introduction. I'm like, oh, League of Assassins, they're here. They're here to stop the antivirus. This is intense. And then ultimately they get really, really embarrassed because Mr. Freeze and Firefly just stand there whoosh, as they like do flips and flips and flips and flips. I'm just like, there's like 6 or 7 or 8 of you, and you're telling me 2 people standing there with guns going is enough to stop you? Weakest League of Assassins ever. But then it leads to a pretty cool scene where Jim walks in, overcome with the virus, and just takes them all out. He's knocking them side to side. One of them comes up, hits him, and he grabs their sword, stabs another guy, and stabs one through the chest. I'm like, oh, Jim, you're losing yourself, man. But that was pretty badass. And then, out of nowhere, Fish Mooney comes over, and just, I don't... The thing is, this one was shot, as much as the camera work is well done, sometimes it's shot so close quarters that it's hard to tell exactly what happened. I can't tell if she stabbed him and he turned around and stabbed her in the process. I don't know what exactly happened in this scene. She's all of a sudden behind him and he turns and stabs her too. And so now Fish Mooney's dead. So, yay! No more one of the worst characters in the series anymore. But yeah, it's kind of weird how this is all handled. You know, she walks up to him with a handful of the antivirus, sneaks up on him. I don't know if she stabbed him with a knife or what, but she sneaks up on him, he kills her, she drops the antivirus, calls him a fool, and then Penguin comes over and is like, you are a monster. I'm like, hang on. She's the idiot that snuck up on a guy who's clearly losing his mind. She knew he had the virus in him. She just saw him rip through a freaking army of assassins, ninjas, and you sneak up on the guy like, oh yeah, he's lost his mind, but I'm sure he won't hurt me. Idiot. Stupid. But once again, it's just another reason for the story to have to progress next episode instead of this one. And like I said, Hugo Strange now needs Jervis Tetch for some reason. So, I don't know, it just seems so, what's the word I'm looking for? Fabricated, I guess, is the best word to really describe it. Just how everything, oh no, here's a snag, here's a snag, here's a snag. So it could have taken 1.5 episodes, realistically, is now taking 3. So I'm a little frustrated with how forced all of this storyline is coming off as. But hopefully it ends up well. Hopefully they do something interesting with it. For now, let's talk about the other sort of side story aside from the Penguin and Riddler stuff. We see Lee goes into Barbara's nightclub. Tabitha and Butch are there. Butch goes over to talk to her like, hey, never expect to see you here. And she calls him like a, what was it, a shoe cleaner or something like that. Just really trying to force home that she's lost her mind. And I guess trying to show off that she has a good range as far as her acting goes. And I already knew that because seeing her in Deadpool, completely different than the Leslie Tompkins we saw on the show. So, I don't know, I didn't really need this whole crazy performance to see that, but it's thoroughly enjoyable whenever she's throwing him around the room and then talking to Tabitha like she's absolutely nothing, you know, she's your boss. It's fun to watch, but at the same time, there's that little part of my brain that's nagging me saying, but this doesn't make any sense. Why did she take the blood? Why is she just accepting of this? Why isn't she going absolutely crazy like other people? She seems like she's in control of her faculties. It's just, she knows that she's crazy. I don't know. It just seems weird how they're handling her character right now. But anyway, on to obviously the spit take part of this episode. So, we see Bruce is in custody. He's looking all pissed off. Alfred goes in to talk to him. Seems to get through to him a little bit, but then Alvarez goes crazy with the virus in him, and so is shooting up the GCPD, so Alfred has to go help. Lucius helps knock him out as well, but Bruce found that chance to escape. And so they're following him, manage to find out where he's going to meet the head of the demon. Alfred, for some reason, sends Lucius away because I guess he knew it was supposed to be a one-on-one thing where if he got captured, he didn't want to be rescued. I don't know. But yeah, so he sends Lucius away and goes in after him alone. Meanwhile, Bruce is heading in there. League of Assassins show up and then just say, hey, keep going, walk on through. And so he gets in there. We see the pit, the Lazarus pit, and in walks Ra's al Ghul. Don't know who this actor is. I'll probably have to look him up and see if I know who he is from other stuff. But seems fairly intimidating. He's fairly tall as well. Definitely not the voice I was expecting, but then again, I am used to the Arkham version and then Liam Neeson, so you have to do a lot to sort of stand out as Ra's al Ghul, and so far he hasn't, but maybe he'll get interesting next episode. Maybe he'll come back for season 4. I don't know what to expect. But this does lead to the final part of the episode where ultimately they capture Alfred. Ra's al Ghul says, you had the chance to blow up the building or whatever with the virus, but you didn't, so here's a chance to redeem yourself. Gives him a sword, says kill Alfred, and Alfred pleads to Bruce's, I guess, the Bruce side of him that's still in there, and Bruce runs him through with the sword. So, yeah, I was not expecting that at all. Here's the thing. It does take a little bit away from this emotional scene, knowing that the Lazarus pit is literally right behind Bruce, and if you know the Lazarus pit, you know that it brings people back to life. So, not going to be too surprised to see Alfred come back after the Lazarus pit probably does its job well. But to see Bruce do it comes as a shock. Like, I don't know, I really thought they were going to go the route of Alfred manages to get through to Bruce. You know, the entire time he's saying he's stronger than this. You'll see, you know, he's that boy in there, he's much stronger than you think he is, and all that stuff. I really thought they were going to go that route, and to see Bruce do it is just like, he's gone. I'm just like, how are they going to bring him back from this? Killing Alfred that's it. Like, he can't come back after this. So what are you going to do now? How are you going to bring him back from this pit of despair that they've dropped him into, to the point of where he's been brainwashed to pretty much have no emotion at all? I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird seeing Bruce go through this incredibly, feel like, damning transformation. So, if you want to know, I thought it was going to be he couldn't bring himself to do it, and then Ra's al Ghul ends up killing him to be like, you fool, you've lost your will, and then kills Alfred to sort of punish Bruce for not doing it himself. But to see Bruce do it is pretty hard to watch. So, yeah, I fully expect Alfred to come back, but I don't know how they're going to handle Bruce's storyline from here. I don't know what to expect from him. I don't know if they're going to manage to bring him back somehow, if maybe Jim's going to manage to find a way to get through to him or something. I don't know. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do next, though. So, that's about it for this episode. I wait with water in hand. Hopefully no more spit takes from here on out. But I guess we'll see. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this episode? What did you expect going into the final episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Gotham reviews. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.